You ever just stand there, staring at something so absurd, your brain needs a second to catch up? That was me barefoot on my driveway, staring at the empty space where my Jeep used to be, realizing someone really had the nerve to cut my lock and tow it. And the best part? It was over 6 inches. 6. She towed my vehicle over a 6-inch curb violation. That's how this all started. I wish I could say I was surprised, but if you knew Karen Mitchell like I did, you'd understand. She wasn't just the HOA president, she was the judge, jury, and executioner of Pine Creek Estates. Her whole identity was wrapped up in enforcing rules nobody remembered agreeing to. One week it's, your grass is 0.75 inches too long, next week she's threatening to fine a veteran for leaving his flag up overnight. The woman thrived on control. The HOA wasn't a job for her, it was a kingdom, and she ruled it with pastel-colored iron fist. Let me back up a sec. 3 years ago, my mom Sarah had a stroke. Doctors said it was the stress. The real story. Karen had been harassing her for months. My mom's house didn't meet some obscure landscaping standard, and Karen made it personal. She blocked the wheelchair ramp approval, left warning letters on her front door, things that may seem petty, but when you're alone and aging, that constant pressure eats away at you. I came home too late. Mom survived, but she's never been the same. That's the moment I walked away from my old life. I joined the bureau. Not for the badge or the suits, because I wanted to make sure people like Karen didn't get to hide behind neighborhood bylaws while hurting innocent people. For years, I worked undercover, built a record, and eventually, fate dropped something wild into my lap. We were tracking a cartel-based money laundering ring using shell contractors' fake services, inflated invoices, the works. The twist. They were running part of it through local HOAs. The intelligence pointed to Pine Creek, right back to the place I tried to forget. And leading it all? Karen Mitchell. Of course. So, I go undercover. New name, same face, fake job, retired security guy, moving back home to care for his sick mom. I bought a house 2 streets down from Karen. Parked my black Jeep slightly over the line. Just enough to catch her attention. And trust me, with Karen, it didn't take much. What she didn't know was that Jeep. It wasn't just a car, it was a fully loaded surveillance rig. Hidden cameras, mics, encrypted files, GPS trackers, a direct line to HQ. My whole case, sitting there in plain sight. At 3:17 a.m., she struck. My cameras caught her sneaking up, both cutters in hand. She snapped through my steering lock like it was nothing, rummaged through the cabin, pulled files, inspected my gear and towed the whole thing to a private lot she controlled. Like some suburban vigilante. It was destruction of federal property, interference in an active investigation, and illegal seizure before sunrise. And just to really seal the deal, she left a handwritten note on my door. As HOA president, I have impounded your suspicious vehicle pending investigation. Report to my office immediately. Signed, K. Mitchell. She'd basically confessed to half a dozen felonies in writing. Now, I'll admit, I was pissed. But once that faded, I realized we had her. Not just for harassment, not just for theft, but for tampering with a federal operation. So I called my handler, Rodriguez. Told him we had something big. We watched the footage together. Karen, pacing her garage, handling FBI-grade gear, talking to herself like she's auditioning for a crime drama. Then came the real twist. She thought I was working for a rival cartel. She believed the Ramirezes had sent me to spy on her, and she panicked. She started making calls coded once, sure, but every word got picked up by my equipment. The operation is compromised, she said to one guy. He has surveillance. We need to clean house. The arrogance of it, the sheer criminal confidence, was unreal. So I played along. Met her at her little HOA office. She sat behind her desk like some mob boss, my confiscated gear laid out like trophies. "You picked the wrong street," she told me. "I control the flow of everything in this neighborhood." I just nodded, pretending to be a nervous PI. Meanwhile, the wire under my shirt captured every word. That night, I made my move. Called an emergency HOA meeting, claimed I had vital security info for the community. Karen agreed, thinking she'd get to publicly shame me. She even brought her little entourage, sat front row, smug as ever. I walked up, faced the room, and said, "My name is Alex Stone. I'm a federal agent, and I've been conducting an undercover investigation into criminal activity tied to this HOA." You could have heard a pin drop. Karen's face went pale, then red, then something in between. People started murmuring. Then I played the audio, her voice, her words, her threats. The neighbors, people who'd been terrified of her for years, finally saw the truth. I knew something was off, one woman whispered. "She fined me for bird feeders." And right on cue, Agent Rodriguez walked in with backup. "Karen Mitchell, you're under arrest for theft of federal property, obstruction, money laundering, conspiracy, and more." The applause. I didn't expect it, but it came. People hugged each other. Some cried. That night, a neighborhood came back to life. And you know what? The raid uncovered everything: offshore accounts, banner phones, dossiers on residents, even a hit list. She'd been planning to remove people who challenged her power. All from her HOA-funded bunker of an office. It was deeper and darker than anyone imagined. She went down hard. 25 years, no parole. Tried to publish a memoir in prison, said she was the victim. No publisher would touch it. She's scrubbing trays now, last I heard, still blaming everyone but herself. But the neighborhood? It changed. People started showing up to meetings. Budgets became transparent. Kids could ride their bikes without getting a citation. We even turned Karen's old house into a community center. And my mom? She's better. Not perfect, but better. She helped cut the ribbon at the new park we named after the people Karen tried to silence. So yeah, justice came. It just took a jeep, 6 inches of sidewalk, and the world's worst mistake by a power-hungry HOA president. Now let me ask you, do you have a Karen in your neighborhood? Someone who hides behind rules but plays a much dirtier game? Tell me below. I want to hear what justice looks like on your street. Because trust me, sometimes, all it takes is one neighbor saying, "Not today."